Everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. Back again with another Ferrero Friday project, and this time it's a larger box, and this one is a 6 Ferrero box, and it's called a buckle box because obviously that creates a buckle across the top. And you open it up, and as you can see, it holds 6 Ferrero absolutely perfectly. But it could equally hold other gifts. You could have perhaps some little toiletries or some jewellery, and it makes a really sort of different opening. And the great thing is it just stays closed as well as it is. The stamp set I've used is a host stamp set. Now, for those of you that perhaps aren't familiar with these, when you place orders with Stampin' Up, well, with your demonstrator for Stampin' Up products, if you're having a party, you will get host credits, or if you're spending over £150, you will also get host credits, and those will be yours to spend on your own. And there are certain stamp sets which are in the annual catalogue and also the holiday catalogues, which are host sets, and those can only be bought with those special rewards. You don't have to buy those, the special rewards. You can buy any other Stampin' Up products, even stuff on the clearance rack, but if you want these sets, they can only ever be bought with host rewards. Now, sometimes I get these for my customers who use the hostess code. They had one of the stamp sets last month. But this is one which I've just got, and again, demonstrators, sometimes we can buy them, but a lot of the time we can only get them when they are using host credits as well. So we have to place a big order to get them too, and they are special sets at a special price. So this one is lovely because it's got some lovely balloons and clouds and really useful, you know, adventure, sweet dream, just great little phrases, you know, sweet as can be, you know, you are a dream, you know, adventure awaits. You can combine them into all sorts of things. Anyway, that's the stamp set I'm using. I'm then using lots of labels. Been around for a long time, this particular die set, but really useful because it comes with some really great dies and good sizes. So, on with the project. I'm going to start off by showing you how to cut the card. Now, those of you who've seen lots of my videos will know I often pre-cut most of the card. You don't need to see me measuring, but sometimes when you've got awkward measurements, I like to show you how to measure those, and this is one of those. So the first thing is to cut your card. I will do this in centimetres today, but the inches will be on my website, flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I will try and give you them as we go along. So it's 29 centimetres long, 11.5 inches, and it's 6.5 inches wide. And you'll see that that's a really awkward measurement on here because it's 16 centimetres. But because this cardstock in the UK is 21 centimetres wide, all you need to do is cut 5 centimetres off, and your piece that you're left with is 16 centimetres. So that's how we're going to do our cardstock. We're then going to do some scoring. So to score your cardstock, you're going to score the long edge at 5.5, at 9, that's those are the only tricky bits that we're doing, at 20 centimetres, 23.5 centimetres, and that's it on the long edge. Turn it into portrait in inches. That is 2 1/8, 3 1/2, 7 3/4, 9 1/8. And you're going to score the short edge at 1 centimetre on this side. Flip it, and then you're going to score at 4 1/2, at 11 1/2, and at 15. So in inches, that is scoring the short edge at 1/2 inch, 1 7/8, 4 5/8, and 6 inches. And once you've scored, you're done. And we're now going to reinforce those creases. So fold and burnish, just fold with the score line and then use a bone folder to reinforce. And the one that you want to really reinforce is this middle section here. We can reinforce it when we glue it as well, but it's because it's going to fold over on itself and create that nice edge finish on our box. So having fold and burnished, now we're going to do some trimming. So we're going to start by cutting up on this first section and notching out. cutting away the little flap because we don't need it. If you don't cut it away, it doesn't matter. You're going to just trim the very top of that, cut straight down the far end, across and straight, and then notch. That was my snail hitting the deck. And then on this end panel, cut at about 1 centimetre or ½ inch. It doesn't have to be precise. You can measure it if you wanted to, but I just felt it was just as quick to do it by eye. Having done the one side, we're going to repeat exactly the same on the other side. So we can start with cutting at about 1 centimetre or ½ inch. Cut straight, notch. Cut away a little tab. Angle slightly. And that's because that's folding on the inside, so we don't want the extra bulk. Okay. Never be afraid to sort of tuck fold card out of the way, you know, so you can see where you're cutting. Sometimes the flaps just start to get in your way, particularly once you've cut a lot of them, because they obviously become more flexible. And then again at this end, around about 1 centimetre or ½ inch. Then once you've done that, just notch those very slightly on all 4 pieces. And the last one. So if I pop that down, you should now have a piece that looks like this. Now, while the box is flat, it's a really good time to do our decoration, because it just makes life a lot easier. So, I can find what I have, where my snail has fallen, which I can't. Okay, never mind. On with the dimensions. So, layers for the top. You want a piece of card, which is 5 by 6.5, 1 7/8 by 2.5, and a piece of DSP that is 4.5 by 6 centimetres, which is what I've got here. And that will create a layer. And just adhere that with some snail. And you want 2 pieces like that. Okay. Then you're going to have 2 pieces for the side and 2 pieces for the end. So the pieces for the end are 6.5 by 3 centimetres, and the DSP is 6 by 2.5 centimetres. So if you cut a strip of DSP, cut 2 off your 12 by 12 sheet at 2.5 centimetres, then you can cut all of the panels that you need. For the sides, you want a piece of card that is 3 by 10.5, like so. And the DSP, again, ½ centimetre smaller, so that'll be 2.5 by 10 centimetres. And then I just need to cut an extra one. So I'm going to cut my cardstock to 3 centimetres, just like so, and 10.5. Then I'm going to cut I have my DSP already here. The reason I'm sort of half prepared with this is because actually my battery went flat halfway through filming, so I had to sort of restart, and rather than making another one, I thought I might sort of use what I'd already got to hand. Fortunately, I hadn't completed it, I'm glad to say. So add that layer just like so. So that's what your box is going to look like. Now we need to glue it, and I'm going to use fuse here for the construction. We're making a box, so we want something that's really going to hold well. You could use tape if you wanted to, sort of either our tear and tape or red sticky tape. And you're going to put a run of it along the top here. If you don't do your tick very well and end up with a little bit of, you can just pull it away, and another run just along here. Okay. Having done that, then fold up those corner edges, and I sort of do the box part first, So you've got all four in place, like so. Just line that up. And then once you've done that, fold this side piece in and then give that a really good rub with your bone folder. And that gives a much better finish. I mean, you could line the inside if you wanted to, but that just gives a really nice sturdy finish. And then your box will then just fold over and meet in the middle like so. So now we need to create our buckle for the top. So to do that, I've used these two dies. They're, if you look in the pack, this is the largest die, so it's from the largest it's the second and third die. You'll see I've attached them using a little bit of washi tape, and that is just so you get a good frame in place. I'm not going to put my big shot in the camera, just believe me that I'm going to die cut it. I have a large one, it doesn't fit very well in shot. So, but once you've put it through, you'll end up with this, and just push that centre section out, and you'll see it's cut through well on either side. Gently peel off, and with your washi tape, all I would advise is that you sort of de-stick it a little bit so you don't tear your cardstock at all. So you end up with a frame. What I've then done is I've cut a frame out of some thicker card. You can either use our thick Whisper White, or if you've got some even slightly thicker card than that. And what I'm going to suggest you then do is come in on a non-stick mat, as I've got here, and put some adhesive on it. Now, you can use Fuse if you want to, or you can use a wet glue. Personally, I prefer wet glue, because although it takes longer, it does give you that little bit of wiggle room. And by using it on a non-stick mat, if any does go over the side, you should be okay. So I did exactly the same on my thick cardstock here. This is actually a bit of coaster board that we used to stock, but the thick Whisper White, 2 layers of thick Whisper White would work. And then once you've done that, just lay your frame over the top. And that was the other reason for using some washi tape to keep on those dies, because it just helps keep them the same distance, so when you die cut your second shape, it works. So just pinch that together and get rid of any glue that's strayed on either side. So that's our frame. And then you can either use the centrepiece from that, or just die cut a separate shape if you want it to be a contrast. And I've die cut one here in Fresh Fig. So we're going to have the buckle frame, then we're going to have this layer here, and then we're going to have a layer of white in the centre. So for that layer of white in the centre, that's where we're going to do our stamping. So you can either stamp first and then die cut out, or you can literally just eyeball it. So sweet. And I'm then going to use the same, I'm going to use Fresh Fig to do the outline, just round like so. And then I'm going to use the powder pink, which is the other colour, which is the colour of the cardstock, to come in. And because these are photopolymer, it is really easy just to line those up. And that then just does the infill on those without you having to get any colouring materials out. So that's our layer. Now, again, I'm just going to come in with some snail, pop that onto this layer here, and then we're almost finished with our box construction. You want a really solid bond on this, and I recommend you do the frame first. So this is where if you come in with fuse, you're going to be putting, make sure that you're nice and clean, on half of it the fuse, and because this is much thicker and robust, you'll be able to put your fuse on without too much difficulty. So now, the way I found easiest to do this was to insert my bone folder, like so. So I've got something that's just holding it up, and then just pop that on the top. And because we've only put our glue on half of it, there we go, that will then stay in place, like so. And then we're going to repeat the process, so the other side. So now we're going to close it up, and we're going to put glue on this half of our label. You could, if you wanted, use dimensionals. I decided to try to sort of keep it reasonably flat. And then because this is the exact same size, you want to really just lock that in and then press. So your buckle is glued on this half, your label on the other half, and that's how you get your buckle. And all you need to do now is pop your Ferrero, and as you can see I had to go out and buy new Ferrero. The old ones were looking a bit tatty and some of them I gifted away, so I was down to only a few Ferrero. And there's your Ferrero Rocher in place. Close your box up, close it like so, and there we have 2 6 Ferrero buckle boxes ready for you to gift anything that you want. If you wanted to, you could always tie some ribbon around that, and if I was doing ribbon, I would just do it around the one edge, just to hold it and give those a bit of a reinforce. There we go, and then it'll stay nice and flat. So, a second attempt at the video. I hope you've enjoyed that and it's all nice and clear for you, and I'm not fuzzy today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you want any products, go to my Stampin' Up shop, heidismith.stampinup.net. Visit my blog and you can follow the links to the shop now there, or drop me an email or give me a call. I'll be delighted to help you. Bye, and come up again soon for another Ferrero Friday project.